Hello friends, welcome back. In today's video we are going to be talking all about new khaki eyeshadow by Dior Beauty. We are going to be creating an eyeshadow look with this, and then we have jungle on the other side of our eyes, which is their older formula. So we'll touch on new formulation for Dior eyeshadows. Of course, we'll create the eye looks, and then we'll wrap up with some final thoughts on the new reformulated Quint by Dior. If this is your first time here, I'm Gigi. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you love beauty, if you love makeup, go ahead and click down there where it says subscribe, and also go to my other socials for a little bit more beauty. And without further ado, let's begin. Alright friends, let's get started. And as mentioned in my intro, Dior has yet again reformulated their Quints. This was jungle. It was their older formulation. Now we've seen that Dior slowly but surely is reformulating every single of their makeup products, and they're transforming them into clean beauty. There are so many mixed opinions and emotions about this decision from Dior. In the luxury community, we could agree to disagree in the comments. Drop your thoughts down below. In my previous Dior video, I talked about Tutu, which was also reformulated. They reformulated all their Quints, and they converted Tutu into Plum Tutu. Plum Tutu is a mix of Tutu and Plum something. I keep forgetting the second name of that existing palette. We don't longer have either Tutu or Plum, whatever. We have Plum Tutu. So this is what that looks like. If you're interested in this specific color story, go ahead and watch my video. I'll try to link it up in the cards if I don't forget. But in that video I did talk about jungle. Jungle is my favorite palette, period, from the Quints from Dior. I loved jungle. So I was nervous, very nervous to try khaki because it kind of looks different, and that's my biggest pet peeve when it comes to these reformulations by Dior. They're changing the color story just a bit, and I'm not happy about that, to be honest. I loved a jungle because it was very rich. Those two deep tones in there gave me a very rich eyeshadow look every time. And then I loved this rose gold shade that I'm missing big time in the new one. So pretty much they took away the talc in these Quints and they replaced it with cornflower extract. And so these do have a little bit of a powdery feel to them when you swatch them. Not to say that they don't really apply well, because to be honest, I didn't have a bit of problem with the formula of this new one. But I do feel like the older one just applied a little bit better, and we'll talk about that after you've seen my two eye looks. So let's actually go ahead and move on to the two eye looks that I created. I'll show you how I created these two step by step, and then we'll come back for swatches and just a final. make it as similar as possible. To be honest, I could go very deep with this one, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try to see if these were comparable for just for my review purposes. But this is deeper, totally deeper. I am big time missing the rose gold shade in the palette, so let's go ahead and live swatch these guys. And I am missing this rose gold shade big time in the new quint. This was like my favorite shade on the palette, and I'm so sad and disappointed that they decided to take it away. So those are the 3 shimmer shades in the old jungle. I'm cleaning as I go. Let me grab my towel, and then let's go ahead with the other 2 shades. Okay, so those are them. You can see that they're quite pigmented. Now let's go ahead and do the new khaki shade. And this is a beautiful green. Then you get that topper that is pretty much, to be honest, like this khaki palette, I don't know. Let's do the other 2 shades. So we have that green and we have that brown. So these are the shades. These are them. This topper shade is extremely weak in the palette. Extremely weak. Like, much of anything really comes up, you know, when you really go to swatch it. I'm cleaning my fingers, I'm drying my fingers, you know, like I'm using a wet makeup wipe, but then I dry it. I'm drying my fingers with the towel, and I don't know, I just feel like it's already a bit hard panned. For my inner corner, like it didn't really show up very pigmented. I had to like wet my brush and then like build it up like twice, or I don't know how many times, but yeah, this is not a good situation. It's really not a good moment. Let's take another look, and I want to hear your thoughts. Like, I want to know what you think of this new color story and the swatches in general, because they not only change the formula, but they also change the whole vibe, the whole color story of jungle, and I am so extremely disappointed. Like with Plum Tutu, I was okay, to be honest. Like, I felt like the palette performed really good. I felt like I didn't have a bit of issue with any of the shades. I was content. I'm actually content with this palette. The whole tutu vibe changed, because the original tutu is very cool tone. These just leans a little bit more warm in tone. So yeah, I was like, you know, 80 happy, 20 sad. With this guy now, so disappointed. I'm extremely disappointed. I do not recommend khaki. I mean, if you compare it to jungle, let me rephrase. I feel like this is an okay palette, but it's just not as good as the older formulation. I just don't understand why they didn't give us those beautiful metallics that we have in the original shades. Like I mentioned that in my tutu palette, I feel like I'm missing a beautiful metallic in here, you know? I want that shimmery metallic. Those are pretty much topper shades, and then the other ones are all matte shades, right? In the new one, I get only these 2 bottom shades that are meant to be metallics, but this is the only good metallic. This is a very weak, you know, weak metallic shade in my opinion. So it doesn't really perform near as good as the jungle. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I'm so sad. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that they also decided to change the tone in the green, even though I kind of like this green too. I do. I feel like this was perfect. It needed no correction. I mean, just change your formula, but just leave the color story, you know, if you really need to change everything. Yeah, I can't really recommend this. For the price that we're paying, I don't think it's worth it. I think you can get better quality somewhere else. I'm very disappointed, but I'm just missing the shimmers. I'm missing the shimmers, and I'm missing like this topper shade. It's just very weak in my opinion. It's just like scattered glitter, which I mean, some palettes do have that, but I don't know, for some reason I'm just not a fan. Not a fan. I feel like at this point I'm done buying the quints. I don't want to really say it, but I'm so disappointed with KHAKI that I'm just like over it. You know, I have maybe 8 other quints that I could go and buy the new formula to try, but I don't feel like it. I saw a new color story that looks beautiful, like a little peachy color story. I may take a look into that. I may go into store and like really swatch it and try it. I am missing a whole lot in this KHAKI palette. Again, I'm just missing my metallics. I'm missing the rose gold. I'm just missing a whole lot. Like if you give me this palette and you give it to me, like I was gonna be content. I think I will be okay, you know, for a green color story. But then you're giving me this guy to compare to the older jungle, and it just doesn't compare. So, again, let me know in the comments, have you tried the new one? Have you compared in your collection? I know you are all beauty lovers and obsessed like me, so I'm sure you may or may not want to try the new formulation. I would love to hear thoughts. Drop them below. Thank you first for watching. I love you all so much, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.